Ever get that feeling like when you're reading something and there's this like whole other level you're just not quite getting?
Oh, yeah, like you can sense there's more to it.
Right. Like a secret code, but it's hidden in plain sight.
Exactly.
That's what we do here at the Deep Dive.
We take whatever it is you're working on and
Yeah, it could be like articles or research or even just
yeah, just like late night thoughts even.
we help you pull out those key insights
So you can get the bigger picture.
without having to wade through all the...
All the muck, yeah.
And today we're diving into something pretty special.
Oh, yeah. We've got a collection of poems by Percy Bysshe Shelley
And the mission is...
to uncover the political and philosophical...
depths, yes. We're going to go beyond just the surface.
Oh, yeah, past those pretty words.
Get at his ideas about...
authority and society.
and what it means to even be human.
Yeah, big stuff.
Now, you might already know some of these poems.
Ode to the West Wind, to a Skylark.
Classics.
Yeah, for a reeve.
But we're going to give you a fresh perspective on them
A deeper dive.
to connect them to Shelley's bigger concerns.
Exactly.
And we're hoping you'll have some aha moments along the way,
That's the best part.
for sure. So when we were looking at Ode to the West Wind earlier,
Yeah, time.
we were talking about how the wind is this symbol of...
Destruction, but also renewal.
Right. So it's like these cycles of ending and beginning
And to a Skylark.
gave everyone this,
Joyful feeling.
yeah, and this sense of wonder at how the bird sings,
Shelley tried to capture it.
comparing the skylark to all these different things.
Like a star, a poet, even a maiden.
Like
You can't really compare it to anything.
exactly. It's one of a kind.
Right.
That's a great place to start, I think.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to see how Shelley's work takes this really interesting turn.
Okay.
So we've got these early poems exploring nature,
And imagination.
but then he starts dealing with some really hard-hitting political and social issues.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting because there was this accusation against romantic poets.
That they were like out of touch.
Right. That they lived in these fantasy worlds and just ignored the problems around them.
But when you look at poems like England in 1819,
And Ozymandias?
that criticism just doesn't hold up.
Not at all.
It's fascinating to see how he shifts gears.
Let's jump into England in 1819 first.
Okay.
This poem is so raw.
Oh, it's intense.
It's like you can feel Shelley's anger
in his sorrow,
at what's happening in his country,
his words are so powerful.
and he doesn't hold back at all.
Nope.
Let's break down who he's going after.
All right.
First, the king.
Yeah.
He calls him old, mad, blind, and dying.
Wow.
It's a brutal assessment.
He's basically saying the monarchy is,
Worthless.
yeah, or even harmful.
And then he goes after the rest of the royal family, too.
The princes.
He calls them the dregs of their dull race.
Ouch.
Yeah, he's saying they're all corrupt.
And they have no good qualities.
And it gets even broader than that.
He goes after all rulers.
Right. He compares them to leeches.
That suck the life out of the
Exactly.
people.
That's such a strong image.
It really shows how much he thinks they're exploiting everyone.
Absolutely.
And it's clear how much he cares about the people
He describes them as starved and stabbed.
in the untilled field
It's a horrifying picture of how much they're suffering.
and how neglected they are.
That they can't even grow food.
Speaks volumes.
For sure.
What about the army?
He definitely doesn't see them as just protectors. He calls the army a two-edged sword.
That preys on the people.
It's like he's afraid of state violence.
That the military is being used to control people.
And not just to defend the country.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what was going on in England in 1819.
The Peterloo Massacre.
Where soldiers attacked peaceful protesters.
Exactly. That must have had a huge impact on him.
Absolutely.
And he criticizes the legal system, too.
He straight up says, lawyers are outlaws.
That's a bold statement.
He's basically saying the courts are corrupt.
And they only help the powerful.
And then he goes after the church,
Yeah.
calling it Christless and godless.
He thinks it's lost all its moral authority.
Right. Like it should be providing guidance.
But it's not.
And finally, he turns his attention to Parliament.
The Senate,
He says they've betrayed the people.
by letting bad laws stand.
He thinks they're either unwilling or unable to fix the problems.
It's a pretty scathing indictment of the whole system.
So England in 1819 paints this really dark picture
Of a country that's suffering.
with corruption and injustice everywhere,
And it's all because of the ruling class.
who Shelley clearly sees as oppressive.
Absolutely.
But there is a glimmer of hope at the end of the poem.
Oh, right.
He talks about a phantom
And a glorious vision.
of revolution.
So he's not completely hopeless
He sees the potential for change
for the people to rise up.
and challenge the way things are,
And he calls this vision glorious.
which makes you think of
The Glorious Revolution,
Exactly, back in 1688.
when there was this big shift in power.
So even though the poem is super critical,
He still believes that things can get better.
it's a really interesting contrast.
Okay, so we've got England in 1819 dealing with the political problems of the time.
Now let's switch gears to Ozymandias,
Okay.
which is also a sonnet.
But it looks at power in a different way.
Yeah, it's more of a story.
Right. Like a traveler is telling us about something they saw,
In this ancient land,
and they come across these ruins.
have a giant statue,
Only the legs are left.
and the face is broken and half buried.
But there's this pedestal with an inscription.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The inscription says, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings."
Look on my works, ye mighty in despair.
And it's so ironic.
Because all that's left is this broken statue.
Ozymandias thought he was so powerful
He wanted people to be amazed by him.
and afraid
But now all that's left is this boastful inscription.
and nothing else.
It's a powerful reminder that power doesn't last forever.
No matter how great you think you are.
Everything eventually fades away.
And I think it makes you think about Ramses II,
The Egyptian pharaoh.
who built all these massive monuments.
Not that he was the greatest.
But even his legacy crumbled eventually.
It's like England in 1819, but on a much grander scale.
Right. That poem was about the specific problems in England.
And Ozymandias is about how all power eventually fades.
It's this big statement about human ambition.
And how we're all humbled by time.
It reminds me of that idea we talked about before.
Reflecting on the land and what's buried beneath it.
Exactly. It's like a call for humility.
And Ozymandias takes that to a whole other level.
Using this ruined king as an example.
To show how even the mightiest fall.
So when we look at both of these poems,
What do we learn about Shelley and the power of poetry?
it's not just about pretty words or feelings,
It can be a way to explore big ideas,
and to criticize what's wrong with society.
to make people think.
And that's what makes Shelley so important.
His poems still resonate with us today,
So think about Shelley's warnings about power.
and how they might apply to our own world.
What do we consider to be mighty works today?
Our institutions, our technology.
What will be left of them in 100 years?
In 1,000,
It's something to think about.
for sure.
This has been a really fascinating look at Shelley's political side,
And his philosophical ideas.
but we've only scratched the surface.
There's so much more to explore.
In his poems and in the time period he lived in,
We hope this has given you a new appreciation for his work.
and maybe even inspired you to read more of it.
That'd be great.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
And keep diving deeper.